My beloved child, sit with me for a moment. Slow down. Take a deep breath. And listen carefully. Because what I am about to tell you may completely change the way you see your past, your present, and your future. For a long time, you have been focusing on what left. The people who walked away. The opportunities that disappeared. The relationships that ended. The plans that fell apart. The dreams that seemed delayed. The doors that suddenly closed. And if you are honest, part of your heart is still grieving. Not because you are weak. Not because you lack faith. But because loss hurts. Even when you know I am in control. Even when you trust me. Even when you believe there is purpose behind it. Loss still hurts. You invested your time. Your emotions. Your prayers. Your hopes. Your energy. And when something leaves, it can feel like a part of your future left with it. But my child, what if what left was never your future? What if what left was simply making room for it? You see, most people become so focused on what they lost that they become blind to what is arriving. They stare at the closed door for so long that they miss the new one opening beside them. They keep replaying yesterday until they can no longer recognize what today is offering. They spend years mourning a chapter that ended while ignoring the chapter that is beginning. And I do not want that for you. Because there is something you need to understand. You cannot fully receive what is coming while your hands remain tightly wrapped around what is gone. My child, I know there are moments when you replay old memories. Conversations you wish had gone differently. Relationships you thought would last forever. Opportunities you thought were perfect. Paths you thought would lead somewhere beautiful. You ask yourself questions. What if I had done this differently? What if I had stayed? What if I had left sooner? What if I had said something else? What if I had tried harder? But my child, those questions are traps. Because no matter how many times you revisit yesterday, you cannot live there again. You cannot rewrite it. You cannot return to it. You cannot rebuild your future by reliving your past. The only place your future exists is in front of you. And that is exactly where I am leading you. My beloved child, there was once a farmer who planted 2 fields. The first field produced fruit immediately. The second field appeared empty. Month after month the farmer looked at the second field and saw nothing. No growth. No progress. No evidence that anything was happening. His neighbors laughed. They told him he was wasting his time. They told him the field was dead. They told him to give up. But the farmer refused. Because he knew something his neighbors did not know. Beneath the surface, roots were growing. Invisible roots. Powerful roots. Roots that would eventually support something extraordinary. Months later, the second field suddenly exploded with growth. And it became more fruitful than the first. Why? Because while everyone else was focused on what they could see, the real work was happening where nobody could see it. My child, that story is about you. You have spent too much time judging your life based on visible results. You have looked around and thought nothing was happening. You compared your timeline to other people's timelines. You compared your progress to their progress. You compared your chapter to their chapter. And because you couldn't immediately see results, you assumed growth wasn't happening. But growth was happening. Strength was growing. Faith was growing. Wisdom was growing. Character was growing. Discernment was growing. Patience was growing. And those roots are about to support a future far greater than you currently imagine. My child, one day you will understand why certain things had to leave. One day you will understand why some doors closed. One day you will understand why some relationships ended. One day you will understand why some prayers seemed delayed. And when that day comes, you will realize something extraordinary. You were never being punished. You were being positioned. You were never being forgotten. You were being prepared. You were never being abandoned. You were being guided. Every disappointment had a purpose. Every delay had a lesson. Every setback carried hidden wisdom. Every ending was creating space for a beginning. And the entire time I was working behind the scenes. Even when you could not see me. Even when you could not hear me. Even when you questioned me. I was working. My beloved child, the chapter ahead requires a different version of you. A stronger version. A wiser version. A more mature version. A more confident version. That is why the process took time. Because if I had given you everything too early, it would have crushed you. If I had opened certain doors too soon, you would not have been ready. If I had answered certain prayers immediately, you would have missed the lessons that prepared you for them. Timing matters. Preparation matters. Growth matters. And all three have been happening in your life. My child, stop believing that your best days are behind you. Stop believing that you missed your opportunity. Stop believing that your story peaked years ago. Stop believing that what left was the greatest thing that would ever happen to you. Because it wasn't. There is more ahead. More purpose. More peace. More joy. More clarity. More growth. More opportunities. More blessings. More impact. More fulfillment. You have not reached the best chapter. You are approaching it. The story is still unfolding. The pages are still turning. The plot is still developing. And the author is still writing. My beloved child, the enemy wanted your disappointment to become your identity. The enemy wanted your pain to become your future. The enemy wanted your delay to become your excuse for giving up. But I have different plans. Plans for healing. Plans for restoration. Plans for growth. Plans for peace. Plans for purpose. Plans for abundance. Plans for a future that reflects my goodness rather than your fears. And those plans are already in motion. Even now. Even today. Even while you are listening to this message. My child, trust me with what you cannot understand. Trust me with what you cannot see. Trust me with what you cannot control. Because there will come a day when you look back and realize that every painful chapter was leading you to something beautiful. Not because the pain was good. But because I am good. And I know how to create purpose from pain. Strength from struggle. Wisdom from wounds. And beauty from brokenness. So stop looking behind you. Stop mourning what was never meant to stay forever. Stop allowing yesterday to steal today's peace. Lift your eyes. Lift your expectations. Lift your faith. Because what I am sending next will make sense of everything that happened before. And when it arrives, you will understand why I asked you to keep going. If this message spoke directly to your heart today, type, Amen, I trust what God is sending next. Share this message with someone who is struggling to let go of the past. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more powerful God-inspired messages. And remember, you cried over what left. But heaven is preparing what comes next. And what comes next may be greater than anything you've lost.